Hello everybody. In this tutorial we will discuss the roofs, and the roofs we got two main types, which are footprint and extrusion. And in each, even if we consider roof by footprint as a single type, but there are certain variations that we would like to work with, and that's what we're gonna do. We will do a flat one, we will do a ridge one, we will do a different types of these things using a different types of roof families. And we'll see some changes between roof and floor, so we'll highlight these differences, and we will show you a certain techniques that we can use in other parts, but we will leave it up until we will come to it. The first thing that we want to do, these three walls, we want to extend them above the other walls, because as if we are making a tower for these three walls. So what we want to do is, let's go to south elevation, and we'll go to level. Make sure that only floor plan is selected. We don't need a ceiling plan or a structural plan for it. And then we will select the pick lines, and we will select, we will input a 2000, and then we will select or hover over the 3P, which is the parapet, and we will click. And once we do that, you can see now it's a blue because we have a floor plan for it. You can check over here, it says 3Q, and we'll change that in a moment. Okay, that's the right place. Click again, we'll call it 4 and then tower. Would you like to rename the corresponding view? Yes. We'll just adjust this a little bit downwards, so no interference in text between these two things. Right now we created a new level for our work that would help us extend some walls, as I said, above the other parts. Now let's go to what we want to do as a first step. We want to create the top roof, which will be the normal roof, flat roof, with no overhangs, with no angles, with no anything. It's simple, straightforward roof. So we'll go to 2R. And before we go on, just let me do something. Yes. And at the 2R, which is the roof, let's go beyond the roof, by the way, it's going to the parapet. So one of the things that we can do is to go to view, go to create, under floor plan or plan views, there is a floor plan, and you can recreate the 3P as we want. And you can see that there is nothing shown over here. At the 3P, that's one of the things. And what we want to see now is we want to create the roof over here. We'll go to roof by footprint. We will select cold roof concrete. Let me just check something. That's the default thickness of this family is 295, and if you want to see lots of layers for that, it goes with asphalt, bitumen, roofing felt, rigid insulation, vapor retraider, concrete, sand, screed, sand, cement, and screed, and concrete cast in situ. Lots of layers. You can, of course, as we did previously, adjust, change, add, remove as you wish. Of course, you have to duplicate as we learned previously. Okay, so it's 295, and I'll tell you why I'm stressing on this issue. I'll say okay, and then What we want to do is we will hover over one of the walls, press the tab key, so it will be easier, and that's a mistake, so we're gonna undo that because we don't need any slope. And we may use extend wall to core because somehow it's the right thing to do. We're gonna do it like this, and we're gonna click. Now this is not the right profile. We will remove this and this as well, this. Then we will use the trim extend to corner, and leaving this space, as we said, it's gonna be the tower. So that's what we're gonna do. And what we will do right now is simply to click on the finish edit mode. It says that the floor roof overlaps the highlighted wall, and we saw that in the floor it's the same message, and we'll say yes because it will cut some of that simple thing there. It will cut the at the parameter. That's what we need. That's what we need. We need to cut the material from the walls. Great. Now if you take a look, let me take a section over here, very small section, and then double click over here, and you can see now that's the roof that we created. That's the wall, that's the volume that we are talking about. Of course, if you change that to fine, you can see now it's actually going all the way up until we reach to the core. That's the CMU over here. Great. You can see right now that the floor and the roof are not the same, because the floor, the top of the floor will go flush with the level, yet here the bottom of the roof will go flush with the level. If this is good for you, I have no problem. But there are certain people would like to treat the roof just like the floor. So as we said, it's a 295. We'll set that the base offset with the same amount, 295 by minus. We'll press enter, and there you go. This is what we want. Because we did this, now there is a very small problem took place, which is if you go to the 2R, you cannot see the floor anymore. But let me first take these out and hide them, so it will be clear. Now you cannot see the floor. Why? Because the floor is beyond, now below the bottom of the view range. So what we need to do is to go over here at the view range. Where is the view range? This is the view range, and put a value which is more than the 295. Let's say minus 300, but you have to put it for both view depth and bottom, because bottom cannot be less than view depth. It should be equal or view depth less. Minus 300. We'll say okay, and now you can see the roof. You cannot see it before because we moved it down 295. Now we moved the view range to 200 to 300 millimeter, which is somehow below that level. Now if I just simply click on these three walls and change their height from GF to 3P, from 3P to the tower, now you can see them going all the way up. Let me show the 3D view. There you go. That's the view that we wanted. And now if you go back to the 2R or a 3P, can you see it in 3P? Yes, we can, but we cannot see the rest of the walls. Now if I want to make the two connections over here, because this has a different height of this and this has a different height of this, I want to make them both look the same. I'll go to modify, and go to geometry. Under geometry there's something called the wall joins, and you can see now a square around the wall that we want. And we have butt, miter, and square. If you go to miter, you can see now it's divided like that. If you go to square off, and there is a variation of squaring off. And if you go to butt, make sure that it's like that. Again, it's like that. Okay, and we will do the same thing over here. It's butt and it's like that. This is what I want. I want the two wall joins to look this way. This is stopping over here, this is going all the way. So this is what we want of our walls of this is how it looks. You can see now this is how it looks. This is how I want it. So this is one of the things that we are doing. Now let's go to the 2R. One of the things that I overlooked was that I need to edit the footprint just like I do with my floors. I need to make an opening over here, and no more of, I don't want the roof to cover this one, and I want to as well remove the roof from the chases. We can add, yes, it will give me a warning. I know the warning is because there are an overlapping, and now we can use the split element with delete inner segment, and then use the trim extend to corner. That's how we make it continuous, so it goes beyond the opening. It will not intersect with it. We will do the same thing over here, and then we can make the cleaning process as we did, but we need to make a very small workarounds so things will be as, that's right, that's what we should do from the beginning. Maybe I overlooked it. That's great. That's how it should look. We go to the 3D view, and you can see right now that neither the shaft for both elevator and staircase, and two shafts for the chases, the plumbing chases, are clean, and that's what we want. Great. What can we do over here? We can do a roof, and this roof is gonna be from aluminum and glass. So we'll go to the 4. There we go. How we can see things. We'll go to the underlay. We'll choose to see the 2R. And there you go. That's what we want. Great. So we'll go to architecture. We'll go to roof by footprint. We'll choose the family slope glazing. Before we go on, we'll get it like edit type, duplicate as we always do, dash tower, so we can mess around with this with no problem. And now we will choose the layout for grid 1 to be a fixed number, and for grid 2 to be a fixed number, and the aluminum section for interior to be, for interior work to be rectangular mullion 30 millimeters square, the same thing over here, and for borders in both ways to be rectangular mullion 50 by 150, and that would be again 2 more, 150. Now you can see we are separating our work of the sloped glazing, which is the family comes with a template. And we'll say now, okay, great, we changed our family. We'll make a define slope on for the minute, and then overhang 500, great. And we will go like select walls. We have 1, 2, and 3, great. The third one, what we will do, we'll go that this way, yes. And the same thing over here, yes. The fourth way, we will draw it. We will use the offset of the 500 from here. We will make sure it's, if it goes to the right, we want it to the left, we will press the space bar and we'll go all the way straight up until we connect with this. Then of course we need to connect them together. Other than this, it wouldn't be how we want it. Now we have 4 sloped, and we don't need 4 sloped. We need this one sloped and this one sloped, but this one and this one not. So the best way to do it is by clicking on, holding the control and clicking on those. Don't set the slope to 0. This is a mistake. Just simply remove the check on the define slope. That's the right way to do it. If you want to set a new slope value, that's the way to use this parameter, but don't set it to 0. That will not actually do the thing that you want. And we will press finish edit mode. Great, let me look at it as a 3D. Well, it looks good. That's what we want. And now what we want is to select the 3 walls. No, the wall over here. Maybe we need to spin and then select the wall. Now we can say attach top base, then attach to this roof. There you go. This is how it's done. Now in order to close this gap, we will build up a wall, a storefront wall. So what we will do, we'll go to the 2R and we'll go to wall architectural, and we'll go to storefront. We'll make no changes. Okay, reset constraints. Again, selected storefront, and it's 2R to 3B. I'll accept that. I'll accept that initially. We'll change it in the coming minute, and we will have an offset of a 100, so it will be inside the edge, not outside the edge. We don't want it to be outside the edge. We'll go like space bar, so it will be inside. Okay, and we'll end up with this. Perfect, that's what we want. If you look at it in 3D, you can see that's the wall, and it resides on the roof. Now what we can do is to select it. No, this is not right. Select the whole wall, say attach top base, and click on the roof. It says here that cannot create a curtain wall mullion, this one, which is highlighted. The portion of the curtain grid was placed as no longer exists. So it's easy. Say delete, and we can, as we said previously, change that to whatever shape or arrangement that we would like to have. Great. What else can we do? Okay, we have the roof, and we have the shaft of the floor, shaft of the staircase, shaft of the elevator hanging over there. What we need to do is we need to do the following. Okay, in order to install doors and these things and make sure that whomever is climbing up can not actually striking his or her head with the roof. So we need to increase this walls height. Again, we'll click on these 7 walls and we will change the top constraint to 3p, but we will add another 1000. So it will be, yes, that's the way it is. Since we created a floor plan for a 3p, if you double click on it, you can see right now these walls working over here clear, and they can be now used to our work. Now let me create another roof by footprint. This time we will select the warm roof concrete, and we're gonna be with defined slope and overhang of 500. But once you click on the rectangle, you can see now it sets itself with the offset value of 0. So we will do that. You have to be very careful. Define slope. When you click on the rectangular tool, not the pick wall tool, it will set itself to 0. So you have to be very careful. Define slope is on. We are ready, and we can simply use these. It's kind of a mistake, by the way, as you will discover in a moment, but they are good enough. Okay, the base offset from level, if you left it 0, that will be below the total height of the wall. So what we will do, we will set another 1000 as we did with the walls. So it will be at the top. We will go like yes. Go to the 3D. It looks good. Does it? It looks good. That's what we wanted. 100%. Now, as you can see now that there are 2 gaps. Here we're gonna install a door, so we need a wall to install a door. But here it's an empty space because the people will come up from here. So let me go back to the 2R. And as you can see now, this is the edge or the boundary of the flow of the roof. And we need to do a 200 millimeter wall to close that gap. So what we need to do is we need to change the edit footprint and add a 200. That's a 200 with okay, I added with a defined slope. I have to be very careful. That's right, so that had to be turned off. That's 200. That's correct. And we'll close it like that. We'll go all the way. Yes, we'll do some cleaning. Again, the same trick. And then we'll do the... So now, I'm so sure about if I install the wall, the roof will hold it, because this is what we want, and we already did that with we didn't do that with the step, the last step. Let me go back to this section, and you can see now that the last step is not actually connected with the roof. So what we need to do is to again do the same thing over here. We'll add a line. This time we'll go with the step thickness. Okay, again the same trick. Split, then trim extend to corner. That's great, that's what we want. Now if you go to the section again, you can see now everything is in place, and that's how we want it. Now another thing this section will open to me is that this wall is not connected to this roof, and I'll handle that in a moment, in a coming moment, but after I'll do the 2 walls over here. So I need to click on that, right click and say create similar. Here it says from 2R to 3P with 1000. Yes, now spacebar, you get it over here. There you go. And another time, click over, right click, create similar. From here, spacebar, and there you go. Now it's closed. Can you see that the railing is not correctly placed? So edit path, we'll click, we'll remove it over here. We can make any change that we want so easily, as you can see. Now let's go back to the section, and you can see that the two walls are not connected to the roof. So we will click on the first wall, we'll hold the control, click on the second wall, and we will say attach top base. There you go. That's what we got. Perfect. Now, because we are talking about the same subject, so most likely you're gonna need this over here, another section. Oh, I'm so sorry. Mistake. And there you go. The depth is so far. So click, make it within the, yes, and double click on, yes, it's not connected. We'll click on it. We'll say attach top base, selected, perfect. That's what we want. Section 2, section 3 is not important. Section 1 is not important as well. We can keep these sections because we are using them as a temporary checkup. It's not a permanent sections to help us do our work. Now, the third thing that we would like to do is, we'll go to the GF. Let's go to the 3D. We want to create as if a shade over here with the same shape of the curve. So that's what we call the extruded roof. In order to work right, we have to first create a section and name it. Create a reference plane and name it. I'm so sorry, not a section. So we'll go to reference plane, pick line, and we'll make it 2000. That's 2 meters. And then we will hover over one of the walls. None of the created, of course, because we hide the reference plane. So we will click over here on the light bulb, select one of the reference plane, say unhide category, then we'll click it again. Now what we got, now what we want, we will click on that, we'll give it a name. Let's call it the East Getaway. Perfect. Now let's go to the east elevation, and in the moment you cannot work on in order to create the profile of your extrusion. And that's why, because these are somehow further away from you. This is closer to you. So how Revit will understand this unless we created the reference plane? So we'll go to set over here, then we will choose the East Getaway. We'll say OK, and now we can say show if you want to. No need to do that. Now, if you work now, Revit will understand where you are working. What we need to do is, you need to go to Roof by Extrusion. This is just a referencing. It's a roof reference level and offset. Say OK. So we'll say OK, whatever, pick lines, and we will put 1000 millimeter over here. We are creating, yes, this is what we call what? This is the profile. It should be always open, not closed. And the thickness of the family of the roof that you will pick will be below this line or curve. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna go over here, generic 125, edit type, duplicate, we will call it ALUM dash 125 millimeter. We have to make some adjustments, and we'll go to structure edit, go to the material. Okay, we'll choose aluminum, keep the thickness as is, say okay, okay, and we are ready now. Everything is in place, and we'll say okay, and you can see right now that the extrusion took place. Perfect, but it's not entirely perfect, because if you go to the side view, by the way, side view is a very special view, we'll discuss it later on. You can see now that the extrusion extruded all the way along the side, or along the perpendicular way of your reference plane. So what we need to do is we need to go all the way. That's how I'd like to do it. I want to attach it to the wall, but I want to make sure that everything is in place. So I will do like, go to modify, align, I'll pick the wall, this is the wall, then I'll pick the edge of the roof and close them. So I'll make sure that they are in the same place. Let's go here and go to the 3D. Perfect, that's what we want. Perfect. Now, one last thing is I want to introduce you to a type of windows and doors, and we will first work with the doors, and we'll go to the 2R. No, don't save. And architecture, door, load family, no, not windows, but doors. We'll go to commercial. We have, okay, we have, not commercial. Okay, commercial. We have the passage, double, single. This is the one. This is the passage, interior. Okay, exterior, 2 lights. Where was the one that I wanted? Is exterior, side lit. No, not that one. Interior, double. It's vanish. It's not over here. Doors. Are we in the right place? US metric. Yes, we are. And or curtain wall, double flush, single flush, double acting. Not the one. Not one. Commercial. Which one was that? The one I selected. This one, which is exterior, single, 2 light. We'll say open. The only problem over here that the height is too big for the space. So what we need to do, I'll pick the first one. I'll say okay, and I will not use it, but I'll go to edit type, duplicate. I'll call it 1700 millimeter. I'll say okay, and change the height to 1700. We'll say okay, and we'll come over here and we will introduce it. It should open to the outside, of course. That's the right place. And go to the 3D. That's the one we wanted. Yes, great. One last thing is the go to window, go to load family, and let me go to window folder, Windows folder. There is the skylight. We have skylight flat, pivot hung, pyramid, ridge, and round. These are, we will choose this one, and we will choose the size 600 by 1200, and I'll say okay. And as you can see now, this has a very nice feature which can go with any inclined surface, and we will choose this almost here and click. Great. Spin it. go over here, make sure, and click it. That's what we want. Great, that's the roof. It's kind of a lengthy video, but I wanted to show you all the different variations of using the roofs. Great, go to the PDF file and locate tutorial 7. Go to the RVT file, open tutorial 7 and solve the exercise. Wish you all the luck. Thank you very much.